Hi everyone, welcome to the What Now Publishers YouTube channel. So I just want to tell you a little bit about what the company is all about. So we are an independent publishing house. So we help self-publishing authors with all their publishing and editorial needs. At the same time, we also publish our own books. So the whole channel is going to be about exploring the authors that we're working with, the illustrators, the designers, everyone that has a hand in putting these books together, their unique stories and what they have to share. So we're going to be celebrating some special literacy days throughout the year. We've already celebrated World Read Aloud Day. And this week, the first week of February, has been Children's Authors and Illustrators Week. We've celebrated an illustrator that we're working with, and today we are going to be celebrating myself and Luther Galloway as children's authors. So stay tuned. We're going to talk a little bit about the book that we're busy with. We're going to discuss the themes of the book, what it's all about, introduce the characters, and just give you a nice idea of what to expect, get you excited, and hopefully you want to be part of the experience and to buy the book.
Okay everyone, hi, I'm Luther Galloway.
Hi, I'm Chanel Mansfield.
And we are the authors of the book What's Wrong with Glitter. Today we're just kind of giving you a brief introduction about who we are, what we're planning to do with the book, what it's about, and the themes that we'll be discussing throughout.
So firstly, who we are is I am the owner and the publisher of What Now Publishers, the company that's publishing the book. So yeah, and then obviously co-author with Luther.
So she just mentioned everything that I just mentioned. You just said the same things. The book is titled What's Wrong with Glitter. We got inspiration from Chanel's husband.
We have to give him credit.
Yeah, we have to unfortunately throw some credit his way, but yeah, we got the inspiration from him. I think it alludes to something very whimsical, so yeah, just obviously pay attention, stay tuned, and enjoy. So the book is basically about an openly gay man who is a drag performer. His name is Kelly, but obviously referred to as Uncle Kelly by his nephew Ellie, who just has a bit of an issue accepting himself and things that he is going through. And yeah, it's in summation about just self-acceptance, self-love, and also just kind of, you know, being the best version of yourself and how that in turn will also encourage others to do the same.
Yeah, so basically Ellie is about to start school for the first time and he is extremely nervous and a little bit apprehensive because he's not comfortable with himself. He has a specific insecurity that we address in the book, and you know, he does get bullied for it, and his Uncle Kelly then does help him sort of accept himself for who he is. And then at the end of the book, Ellie actually finds a very creative way of owning this insecurity and then essentially inspiring the kids around him and really just finding that new sense of confidence. So yeah. So we've settled on the release date of the 2nd of April, and the reason why we've chosen that day is because it is International Children's Book Day, so we thought it's very appropriate. And it will be available on the What Now Publishers website, as well as retail stores. So we are in talks with several retail stores at the moment with getting the book out there. We don't want to give too much away about that, so that will be a surprise. And yeah,
but yeah, as we draw nearer to the release date, more information will be provided, you know, who we're kind of collaborating with in terms of the distribution houses. So yeah. And
the book launch, about what we'll be doing.
Yes.
We have quite a few ideas.
Yeah, we have a really fun idea together, especially considering that it is a children's book. I think that you guys are going to be pretty happy with what we put together in terms of the book launch and the release.
I was studying and I was doing my publishing honors. I had to do an assignment to come up with a story, and I had thought of Luther, and originally the book was called My Uncle Loves Glitter. And you know, as the year had gone by, when I decided to start the business, I then knew this was the book I had to start the business off with. So I then approached Luther and we spoke about it, and that's also how the title kind of evolved. Once we got into the whole process of doing the book, it then changed. And yeah, Luther was, you know, the main inspiration behind it, as well as the fact that God help us.
You gotta recognize.
Besides that, it was coming up with a story that was moving away from the conventional, traditional mentors that you find in children's books, where it's standard mom or dad, perhaps a grandparent, that's sharing a bit of wisdom or, you know, helping a child through something. And I find that I believe it's truly important that we kind of break that barrier now, and we write the stories about people that are really part of our lives. So anyone part of the queer community is a perfect fit for this. And having Uncle Kelly being a queer character as well as being a drag performer, which brings a lot of fun, creativity to it as well. That's what was the whole inspiration, was Luther, and just trying to write something that was different and something that's absolutely necessary now.
Yeah, I think just to touch on that, like it was very important for people, and it is very important for people to understand that, you know, mentorship is available from anybody. It's not necessarily exclusive to certain, you know, groups and individuals. You'd be surprised at, you know, just the life lessons that some people have gone through that could impact, you know, your children and just even adults. So it was very important to highlight those things. Yeah, I think it's very on the nose with what's happening in today's, you know, age. People are looking for diversity, they're looking for inclusion, they're looking for themselves in a lot of these books. And I think it's very important to expose not only kids but also children to different and interesting messages, you know, at very early stages in their lives, you know, where it's their formative years, you know, it's their formative part of their life. So, you know, for them to at least be exposed to those things is, I think, an important thing, you know?
Yeah, sorry, I wanted to say, as we were talking about it earlier, where you want to sort of introduce these topics and these themes and ideas in a healthy way. You don't want your child to see it somewhere else, and then you sort of have to kind of backtrack and try and fix what they've learned or whatever. You want to do it in a nice, healthy way. And we believe doing the book is a good way to do it. And I also think it was really important to, if I was going to invest in a book like this and about this theme and this character, to also incorporate someone who has that voice, who has a queer voice, and not try and write it from my own perspective and what I think it's possibly like. I thought that was very important, to get someone who can bring their personal perspective to the book to add more value to it as well.
Yeah, and also as a parent, for you to not to endorse something, but to be able to stand behind something that you would then also subsequently feed to your child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Should we answer this one together?
Yeah, I think, you know, long story short, no.
Not at all.
I think that's answered by the fact that we are going to be releasing the book. I think that, you know, the time for, you know, I think the book is very subtle. It's subtle in its introduction of these themes, but I think it can't be subtle in the sense that it has to beat around the bush. The reality, you know, the reality is that, you know, there are so many different types of people out there. And, you know, for us to not give every voice a story, well, every story a voice rather, you know, it's just, it would be an injustice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not worried about it. Obviously, there's going to be people that like it and those that don't. And
because haters are gonna hate.
You know, and as I've said before when we were asked this question, that truly feel that the people that are the most uncomfortable with it are the people that need to read it most. And we don't want to have the perception of, just because we have a queer character who is a mentor in the book, to think that in any way is it to influence children in being queer or anything like that, or that the child in the book is going to be queer or anything like that. It's purely coming from a sense of, like Luther mentioned, that a mentor can come from anywhere. Everybody has an experience, everybody has a story, everybody has a little bit of advice to share, and it doesn't really matter who that person is. And that's what we're trying to break. We're trying to break that stereotype as well, and just sort of normalize this type of this way of thinking.
Yeah, we owe it to the younger generation, I feel, to give them to better equip them, I feel, than the way, not to say that we weren't equipped, but just better equip them in today's day and age. There's a lot of acceptance that I think previous generations weren't afforded. But now that we're kind of moving into a newer norm, it's only fair that we encourage that movement,
Yeah. We were also talking about the fact, very often that queer people are still referred to as, oh, my gay friend, or the gay makeup artist, or the gay this, or the gay that. And it's just unnecessary when it's just one identifier of who the person is. It's got nothing to do with their skill, their talent, or what they have to offer. Yeah, what they have to offer. So it's not Luther, my gay friend. It's just Luther, and being queer is just one of the things, the fun things that comes with you.
It's definitely helped. The themes of the book, I would say, are obviously queer. They're not queer-centric, but it is...
It's very subtle. It's really sort of just putting the character there, and that's it.
Yeah.
And just, again, trying to break that whole thing of making too much out of it.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's the themes are very subtle, but it's self-acceptance, it's self-love, it's queer mentorship. It's all of these things that I think a lot of books do offer, but in a very interesting and something that we need to kind of bring forth. Do you know what I mean? We have to give this thing life, so that it may encourage others to give other things life. That's kind of what we're going for here.
It does touch on being bullied, being uncomfortable with yourself, trying to make new friends and trying to fit in, which we know a lot of kids go through when they are still so young, and I think even more so now with everything that's going on in the world, and we're having so much access to everything, and if we're not this type of person, then you don't fit in, and really just trying to find their place. And the idea with this story is really to take that and to try and teach children that you are okay, that you're perfect in your own way.
Yes.
And you've just got to kind of figure out how to make that work.
And I think also it goes as far as to teach, adults and children just sensitivity.
Yeah.
I think, beyond the themes of bullying, it's also to kind of take the bully through an experience to say, cool, be a little more sensitive about the things that you say and the things that you point out, like all of those things that could potentially lead someone to a dark space, Yeah.
The book to move beyond just for children, that parents, whoever's going to read it, a guardian, teacher, whoever's reading the book is also going to be touched by the story. And, perhaps even create room to start talking about things with kids and addressing things, and, maybe your child is being bullied or they are the bully, and just kind of working that out and really addressing the issue.
Yeah. So what is the message we want the readers to leave with? I think similar to the themes, it should be, just acceptance of self, and I think just a little more sensitivity. That's what I would like to hopefully, give people.
Yeah, and it's again to start breaking that barrier of having queer people in our lives, and the advice that they're giving, and just the value that they can add, and just to again normalize all of that, and just to get people to be a little bit more aware of what they're doing, what they say to other people, and not having to be so sensitive that you can't say anything, just being more conscious of what you're saying and the message that you're trying to give to other people, and especially to children. I think that's very important, because so many kids are damaged at such a young age that they become terrible adults and they can't function properly, and then we have all these other things that build up and that we have to deal with. And it may seem like a big message to pass through a children's book, but we want the people that will be reading these stories and the kids that are reading these stories to
take it further.
Yeah, to just open that line of communication, to just talk and share things, and just accept themselves and accept those around them, and just be better, be good humans, make good choices.
Yeah, guys, be kind. That's all. Just be kind.